We're now entering the 4th season of the save as manager of OFK Beograd, and we are on our 3rd season of top flight. With 2 of our long-term players retiring at the end of the season, I kind of expected this to be a difficult time, especially with our captain and club legend Elvedin retiring. So where are we expected to finish in the league? So no surprise at all, we're expected to finish bottom. Again, it's always bottom. I don't think it's ever changed, and I think the odds have gone down actually since. So our odds are even worse than last season, despite the fact we actually did quite well and were fighting for top 5 finish at some point at the end of the first phase of the season. We are now actually studying for the Continental Pro license as a manager, which means we are 1 license away from completing all of the coaching badges we need to ensure we are the best possibility for the manager, and that's great, especially when you realise that we are doing quite well for ourselves and we're looking like a decent manager on paper now with the attributes, so hopefully that will continue to rise as we do well, or not so well. We're expected to be in the relegation fight. We are also trying to really integrate some of the players that are in the team, and you're going to notice the problem already. Our goalkeeper and defence is very lackluster compared to the rest of the squad. As you can understand, we're struggling a little bit. Stosich is the goalkeeper in goal, and he's actually been improving quite nicely, and he's still only 18, so he will be our first choice goalkeeper for the foreseeable future until he decides he wants to leave us. Hopefully, that will not be anytime soon. Popovic is still our first choice right back, and he's still only 22, so I believe he can be even better. He's still not good enough for the league yet, but he's a good player for this division and is very consistent. He's got 5-star in potential ability, so he could be a top flyer for that in the future. Yasmin Kotovic is going to be our first choice centre-back. He's actually better than everyone else in the team now, which is kind of concerning that this is our best centre-back, who's only a 3rd-tier player and has injury problems. He is consistent, but that's the only silver lining we have, but he's also both Serbian and Bosnian, so yay. Petrisic is the next player in the centre position, and he's a casual personality. You can see the problems already starting. If this is our best centre-back, along with Kotovic, it's not going to go well for us. And last year, after doing quite well for himself, Alvir Hamzik is going to be starting as the starting left-back. Yeah, this is our best left-back right now. He got 5 assists in 6 matches last year, so he's not like he's been terrible, and it gave me reason to believe that he could be good, even if he has also got a problem with a casual personality. He is consistent, so hopefully he'll go out of the casual personality he has right now. We are trying to bring Stosich into the team again, and again, he is our main DM. He's not good enough for the division. I don't think he ever will be, and if we get someone really good, then hopefully we'll be able to replace him in the future. Filip Gogic is also a player that isn't really good enough for the division and is kind of forced to play here, even though we really need a replacement and we're playing as a box-to-box. He could do the role, and he's not amazing, but he's not terrible either, just lacks strength a little bit. Though with our best player being this guy, and Alexisevic is quite good, consistent, very consistent in fact, and is good enough for the division. Doesn't like big matches, but he's good, and I think we can rely on him to do well for the team. With our right winger being our main man in Lazar Petrovic, he's quite good. Again, good enough for the division now, and looks quite good. He can still definitely improve as well. He's only 23, so we believe he can be a good player for this division. Hopefully. That's the dream anyway. That's the aim. Make him a good player for this division. We are still using Alex Kostic Milanotovic as the left winger, as the inverted winger. He can play the role. He's very consistent, but he just doesn't do well for some bizarre reason. I'm kind of forced to rely on him, which is not ideal. His average ratings of a 6.71, a 6.59, and a 6.79 don't really give me much confidence in him. And he played every game last year, so really he has to improve. Even with 8 goals and 12 assists, he just doesn't turn up sometimes. It's not good. And we are still relying on Lazovic. Now, he's turning 30 and is no longer good enough for the top flight. He was last year, so maybe we need to replace him in the future or hope that someone comes through and becomes good enough to replace him from our academy. Will we find someone who can do that? I don't know, but let's get to the winter break and see how we're doing and see what our youth intake has provided us so far, as we try to use the 4-3-3 once again. We won our first game by 4-3, and I thought to myself, okay, that's a good start for us. Then we lost 2-0 to TSC, not great. We then lost 2-0 to a team that I didn't think we'd ever beat, but it was annoying to have lost anyway because we generally didn't feel like a good team here. And then we were held to a 2-2 draw, despite the fact we actually went ahead twice in this game. Not great from our point of view. And then we lost 3-0. And yeah, it's not great when we're losing by this sort of scoreline. Before we lost 6-2 at home to Partizan, who decided to actually bully us in this game. And it's probably our worst defeat of the campaign. And our worst defeat in a few years. And then we lost to JLAB Ivanjica, and that's not a good sign to be losing this team, who I genuinely think we should be fighting and beating in terms of relegation battle. We then won 4-0, despite going down to 10 men with 6 minutes to go, and the fact we won by 4-0 is enough to give me confidence that we can do something here. And then we were beaten by Stosich, and again, fierce rivals. We were 2-0 down, we got a goal back, didn't do much more than that, unfortunately. And then we only drew 1-0 against Kolubara, who I really wanted to beat. I genuinely think if we beat this team, we're doing well, but we didn't beat them, and it's not ideal. We then went on and beat FK Integer by 2-1. We did get a very late goal, but honestly, by that point, we already won. And then we drew against Sparta Subotica, who I generally I'm surprised we keep getting points against, but we conceded a 93rd minute equalizer. Not ideal. Red Star only beat us 1-0 in the next match, so I was happy about that. But then we were knocked out of the cup in the first round by Integer. So yeah, hat trick for one of their players in the 89th minute of the game. Not ideal. We didn't feel good. And then we were beaten 2-0 by Proleta Novetad, and not good to see that. Before Zlatibor got a point against us, and we were behind here, but came back. Then when Nikki beat us by 2-0 at our ground. And then TSC beat us 4-1. And this is a terrible defeat really as far as I'm concerned. Before we were beaten again 2-1 after getting an equalizer from penalty spot. And again, more defeats going our way, and you're starting to realize that we're struggling because we lost another game. 5 defeats in a row. And then we lost our 6th game in a row, losing 3-0 to Partizan, despite the fact that we went down to 10 men, it's like 30 minutes. And we equalized. So we equalized twice and still lost. Things are not going well for us. And the fact we are currently in 15th place after 21 matches with 9 games to go does not bode well. We are closer to relegation than we are to a top half finish, and in fact we are currently in the relegation zone as things stand. We really need to pack up our ideas, and quickly, because we will be going down if we do not improve in the next 16 matches in the league. The fact we've already played half our games this year and are doing this badly is not ideal. Still, we have been given promises that we'll get a good wingback. Apparently we don't have a great deal of quality in the fullback position, but the DMs are looking good. Centre midfield not great, but a striker could be good. So hopefully we get 3 good players and it will help us. I do really need a centre back though, because quite frankly our centre backs are lacking and we need strengthening there. Give us a centre back or 2 and I'll be very content. Let's go to the youth intake and see if we got a good player or not. So we're back and we are looking at the games we've had since we last met, and we lost 3-2 against JLAB Ivanjica at home in the 94th minute. We were 2-0 down at one point, we got it to 2-2, then lost anyway. The Kuzovec we beat by 2-1 in a good game. Then Vostavac beat us 5-0 at our ground. We conceded 2 goals very late on. It was not ideal, but we did beat Kolubara by 2-1. Good stuff before we were held to a draw by a 10-man side in Integer. So, not ideal. Before we lost 3 games on the bounce. Sparta Subotica beat us 1-0, despite going down to 10 men later on. Red Star beat us 3-0. And then Proleta Novetad beat us by 2-1 on our ground. We've got one more game in the regular league campaign, and we're not doing well. We are 8 points away from safety with 8 games to go. We really need to pick up points because as things stand, we are going down, and it's not pretty. In fact, I can outright say that. But our youth intake arrived, and I think we've got a superstar in our hands. Allow me to introduce you to Ivan Stosich. He's 15. He's already this good. He's already considered good enough to be the top flight DM. And I'm going to use him as a DM because as a ball-playing defender, he's everything I wish I could get. The fact he's been given a promising midfielder straight off the bat tells me he's either going to be really good or he's going to crash and burn. And with us giving him first in football, I plan on making him someone who'll be amazing. Whether or not we can do that, I don't know. But Ivan Stosich, could he save us? I didn't think I would get a DM here, but this is our best ever player we've had from a youth intake off the bat, and that is great for this team and this save. Can we do well, and can he save us with the last 8 games of the season? We also got the left wing back, who is a left back and a winger, and guess what I'm going to use him as? A wing back on attack. Now, I know what you're thinking, he doesn't have all the attributes needed, but he is someone I'm going to rely on a lot. I need him to do well. He could be better than Hamzik, and I believe this guy will be in the first team long term, so hopefully we can make him really good. We also got this guy, MacLeod, and I believe he could be a striker, a very good striker. Do I think he's amazing now? Absolutely not, but long term, he could be really good, and Militic could be our answer to Lazovic's retirement or long-term decline. I believe he'll be really good. Can he become really good? I don't know, but hopefully he can. We also got another defender and left back in Branislav Pajovic, who is 6'2" but only has 5 heading. We know the issue here. He's also slow. So if we can develop him and make him good, that's great. We need more people who can do well at the centre-back position. We're definitely running a bit thin there. We also got a right back in the form of Dejan Zekovic. Really think he could be good, and I really want to make him a ring back on support because I think we need more strength there, and another option there is always good to get. But yes, that's our best players I'm going to cover. I'm not going to cover everyone else, but can we survive? Let's find out. So we're back, and we lost the first game we had since we last met against JLAB, which kind of confirms that we're struggling a lot. Even though we took the lead inside 3 minutes, we conceded 2 goals in the first 15, and we didn't do much afterwards. But we then took a Radniki, and I genuinely believe we were going to win this game 2-0 up at one point. Then they made it 3-2 before we got an equaliser, so we didn't lose, which is great. This is the relegation part now. It's not fun, because we then lost by a goal to 0 against Napotek Kuzovic. So yeah, not fun. We're losing this game. And then we lost again by a goal to 0 at home. We actually started Stefan Belic, and he's actually quite good in this game. So yeah, he did quite well. Then this happened. We beat Kulabari by 2 goals to 1. We actually did okay. And then we won again, 3-0 this time, against FK Integer. And I thought, okay, 2 wins in a bounce. Can we do more? Yes, we then beat TSC by a goal to 0. And then the last game of the regular season, we took on Zatibor and beat them by 3 goals to 1. We actually had won 4 games in the bounce in the last 4 games, but was it enough to keep us up? No, it wasn't. We are down by a single point from FK Kodabari, and if we hadn't drawn against them in one of those games, we could have won. And if we hadn't drawn against FK Integer in one of those games, we could have gone and stayed up. We only got 33 points in a 37-point season. We lost 22 times. Those defeats cost us long term. We're going down, and we've got a problem. And I'm actually going to bring into this because the board, after we confirmed our relegation, only want us to finish mid-table next year, which I think is a good thing. I don't know, but they want me to work towards a top half finish in the next 5 years anyway. So no pressure on my shoulders, at least anyway. They're not sacking me. They're keeping me in the team, I suppose it's quite good. But yeah, it's relegation. No competitor this time. We went down. We sent players out on loan. Okay, not bad. Not great either. And we send players out on loan because we need to. Getting relegated is not fun. And I genuinely believed at one point we could survive. The fact we had to make up 6 points to Kodabari in 7 matches and we came within a point of staying up is actually pretty nice to know that we are not completely useless. We just had this horrid run of form. And if you look at this game, TSC, if we beat them or don't lose to them, we're doing better. Radniki, a game I genuinely think we could have won, didn't do well. Modless, Lokane, a team we should have beaten, I think. And you look at these lists and you think, okay, we really messed up. The fact we won our last 4 games of the season is not ideal, and it tells me that what could have been, we're struggling, and the fact we're knocked down the first round of the Serbian Cup is also a bit terrible. But yeah, we win 4-0 and our biggest win of the season, despite going down to 10 men. And that's the thing, we beat this team 4-0 and we lost to them at some point a few times as well. So, wasn't great. The 4-3 win against Raniki is also a problem because we genuinely could have done better. But there was a goal of the season contender in this match. This was the goal of the season, and I like to think that that was a nice finish. And the fact Stosich is already playing for me is good. This is one of his very first games, and he was playing, and he got 7.1. I like to think the Stosich will be here for a while, and we got a good player there. Finances, we actually made more money from sponsorship this year, even though reputation has gone down. Yeah, sponsorship, we're actually making more money. I don't know what's going on, but ever since we've been promoted to the top flight, our sponsorship's been going up and up and up. I'd like to think it will stay in a good position, but hopefully it won't be going down too terribly. Broadcast went down, corporate and hospitality went up, prize money obviously went down because we were relegated, and match day commercial and retail went up as well. Making 25 grand for merchandise, and we only sold 581 shirts. Morich is actually one of the top shirt sellers. I'm going to show you some of the players now in a bit, because we actually started giving more first team football to other players now, and it's really useful. But yes, this is our mini Dream 11, and as you can see, problem here. No one got above a 7. Not a single player got us to 7 average rating. And that's not ideal. So yeah, the fact that Alexisovic was the best player says a lot. And Lazar Pesic was also Young Player of the Year. Lazovic got 15 goals and still couldn't keep us up. And it's not ideal to say that is the case, but we did get a hat-trick hero in Petr Eureka. It's not great, is it? We just didn't do very well at all. I can't be happy with what we did. We went down. We were terrible. Who went down with us? So, the season playoff has happened and Kudabari went down anyway. They stopped us by a single point and they went down. They went down and they denied us anything and they still got relegated. I mean, we kind of dug ourselves in a hole and couldn't get out of it, but even so, the fact that Kudabari, who were 1 point ahead of us at the end of the season, could not survive makes it all the more annoying to me. We lost 20 games of the 30 games of the regular campaign. I think that tells you where our problem was, and we need to work on that. Also, this is now a thing. We've got players wanting to leave. So, Lazovic wants to go. He got 15 goals. He's gone down by an entire star in the current ability as well, by the way. So, that's an issue. Stosich is also a player wanting to go. I'm not happy about this. So many players want to go. Even if they're not good enough for this division, they are good enough for the second tier. It's not fun. And this guy is probably one I will lose because he's wanted by some big teams. And this is our best player. We could be about to lose him for 300,000 at the best case scenario. But if he does go, we're going to have a lot of players replace him. Same with Popovic. Now, a lot of players want to leave. It's not fun. And he had a 6.59 average rating this year. And he wants to leave for bigger football because why would he want to stick around with us? Oh yeah, also Lazar Pesic wants to go. Yeah, he was one of our best players at 6.88 average rating, but didn't really do a lot apart from his 8 goals and 6 assists. We need more players to stick around. He's actually good enough. He's good enough for the top flight, but I don't think we're going to get the money, hopefully. He does have 3 years in his contract, so hopefully he'll stick around anyway. Oh, and Kurtovic also wants... Here's a problem. Kurtovic wants to leave. He's our best defender, but he's only good enough for the 3rd tier. I think we can keep hold of this guy. No idea why he likes to not ball pass his opponent. He learned in a mentoring group. I don't know how it happened, but he did. So, yeah, it's not funny, is it? He's a terrible defender who wants to leave for a bigger club because we got relegated to the top flight and he's playing first team football because we literally had no choice but to play him. That's how bad our defensive situation is. Risic wants to leave because I've apparently mistreated him too many times. All I did was criticize his training and fine him for poor performances. And apparently, that's enough to be treated unfairly. Newsflash, you're being terrible. You deserve to be punished for it. Don't come crying to me when you're being terrible, okay? And Milan Moric wants to leave, and you're now looking at this guy and thinking, wait, he wasn't this good before. Yeah, I know, he wasn't this good before. He's become really good now. And he's pretty much started every game that I can really start him in, and he's now really good. This is how good he can become. He's no longer driven, by the way. He's only fairly determined, but 19 years of age, we've got 2 years left for this guy. If we can keep hold of him after next season, we'll try to. But if he wants to leave, he'll want to leave. So, problems. A lot of players want to leave the club after we got relegated. It's not funny. So if we look at this, Stosich is already good enough to be considered the 2nd best player in the club. And that is not a fun situation to find ourselves in. Mycan is actually improving as well. And he got a 6.58 average rating. Yeah, he's great, isn't he? See why I'm having problems, right? Good enough to be a 2nd tier, 3rd tier player, apparently, only. And he's supporting one of our players wanting to leave. Lazovic, yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, we've got a few issues here. And, oh boy, we're going to have to rely on some other players, I think, like Adisa and Rakitic. Okay, I'm going to say this here now. I don't think he's good enough for the second tier, but if he develops and becomes more consistent, we could use him long term. I really believe that could be the case. He played once last year in the season. He was terrible in it, but we are kind of starting to rely on other players because other players want to leave. It's a problem, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if this is going to cause me problems next year, but if it does, it does. So hopefully we can fix this. I think after the 5th season, I will probably go over the entire squad and see who's better and who's not so good at the end of the 5th season. Because I want to show you guys some of the best players we have. We've got some good talent here and some good potential. And you wouldn't believe it with how bad we've been doing. Also, we've got a transfer budget of 878,000. And we've got an overall balance of 188,000. Why? Where does this money come from? Well, Dusan Vlahovic went to PSG this year, and apparently, because he moved for 97 million, we got 800,000 of the deal, because we were his first club, and we sold him to Partizan for 97 grand. Who knew that we could get money because we were his first club? I didn't think that would happen, but it did. So, Dusan Vlahovic has helped us out, and we've actually been able to improve our training facilities back to average, after they were made worse because of a situation. Isn't it great? I'm actually going to end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys would like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that you want to see more of this in the future. But either way, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.